Absolutely.
Well, here we are.
Yes, indeed. Episode 1?
1.
0 or 1? 0 is usually for trailers, right? So,
Yeah, and this certainly is not a trailer. We don't
No.
have that ability.
yeah, not yet. Maybe later. Episode 1.
Episode 1. What's our name?
Bros, Brews, and the
Basement.
Welcome.
So we decided to start a podcast just like everyone else in the world.
Hell yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
We thought, you know what? There's not enough podcasts out there with people sharing their opinions. So, like, let's, what's one more in a sea of opinions and, rants?
Everybody loved my guest appearances on your Music React channel, so I figured I would bring that same opinion to our own little channel.
Hell yeah.
Or
Yeah,
part of the channel, right?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what we're going to do yet about that. I don't know if we're going to add it on to the Basement Universe channel or create our own, or we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we still have some things we're working out, if you can't tell by this introduction.
Yep.
But we're on our way.
We don't have it all figured out, but we will.
So, Game 1, NBA Finals tonight. First of all, how did you feel about the conference finals?
Oh, man. We probably talked about this, in a separate, conversation, obviously, but it's funny how the whole NBA playoffs, and even for the NHL for that matter, like all the regular series, 7 games, like super competitive, like back and forth. Like there was really never a clear-cut winner in the series, pretty much. I think maybe there was only one sweep for basketball, and that was the 76ers on the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's because the Nets traded everybody halfway through the season.
Yeah, like there was no way.
Yeah.
The fact that they even kept it competitive in some of the games, but then, obviously got overwhelmed was,
Yeah.
shocking. But, yeah, the conference finals were pretty shocking, at least for the Eastern, because I did not expect Boston to come back, win 3 games.
Did you think they were going to finish
No.
it? Game 7 in Boston?
There was a part of me that did believe, like, wow, this is a momentous shift. But at the same time, everybody's been, counting Miami out the entire postseason. So it's like they're an 8 seed. They had to play in, I believe, right, to get.
They were in the play-in.
They were a play-in team, and nobody expected them to make it. I mean, they've been good ever since 2020, but haven't played up to their full potential the past couple of years.
I'll be honest, as a Knicks fan, when the Knicks got the Heat in the second round, I was like, the Knicks can
They
beat
could win,
them.
right? They could.
And then it was very clear, I think it was after Game 2, where I was like, oh, Knicks aren't going to win this series. It's not going to happen. I like the Knicks, obviously, but the Heat were just better. They're a better team, better coach.
You're also
amazing.
you also know the Knicks, and you're a realist and not just a
that too.
full-blown fan.
The fact that I was shocked they made the fucking playoffs. When they made the playoffs as a 5 seed, were they a 5 seed?
Pretty
Who'd they beat in the first round?
Hawks, right?
No.
Wait, who did they beat in the first? Oh, it was Cleveland. I'm sorry, Cleveland.
Cleveland.
And I knew they would beat Cleveland.
So I'm pretty sure the Knicks were a 5 seed. I know, the East is not super strong. I mean, the West isn't either.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Knicks were a 5 seed, I was shocked. And then got a little hyped, which is why I thought the Knicks could probably beat the Heat. And then I said after Game 2, I was like, oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
this is 6 games, 5 or 6 games, I thought. And I think they won in 5 or 6. Either or, whichever. The Knicks lost.
Yeah, I think the Knicks only took 1.
Right. So they
I
probably
think.
lost in 5 then. And
They almost stole the other game, but just
yeah,
wasn't meant to be. You can't just have Jalen Brunson running everything, right?
yeah.
Julius Randle, I heard he was hurt,
Ankle.
but
Had an ankle.
But yeah, I mean,
But my issue
somebody else has to
my
step
issue
up.
with him is that there's too many times where I felt like we've absolutely needed him and just haven't gotten it. Whereas I feel like Jalen Brunson after year one, his deal is looking like a steal.
Yeah, definitely a steal.
$25 million a year. Everyone was like, oh, it's terrible. That he's not the answer. The Knicks are still going to stink. And
Boy,
here we
were they
are.
wrong.
They're a 5 seed, which for the Knicks is amazing. The last time the Knicks were that high of a seed, they were the 2 seed.
With Melo and Stat.
Yeah. I don't think Amari was there anymore.
Okay.
And the only reason they were the 2 seed is because the Knicks won. I think they finished the season winning 10 games straight to take over the Pacers.
Okay. I feel like I remember
just to lose
that.
to the Pacers in 6 games in the second round.
Disappointment,
So
as always.
I'll take this Knicks team, and this Knicks team is younger. That Knicks team is old. I think Ray Felton was on that team. That was that team.
Dude, I saw a picture of well, not a picture, but it was a video of Ray Felton. I think I was here with Omar, and we were watching a game, and they had a bunch of people talking, and I can't remember what it was about now. It was like some sort of special like event, or like they were celebrating somebody's birthday, or I don't know, a record being broken, and they had a picture of Ray Felton, or like a video, and he gained so much weight. I didn't even recognize him at first. I was like, oh my God, Omar, do you know who that is?
Well, I also feel like his second stint with the Knicks, he was heavier than his first one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it is what it is.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of shocking to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when you're an athlete, you're working out every day, or you're
I was gonna say,
training
you gotta be in
or
peak
something
shape.
like that, and then afterlife, your afterlife, you're retired. Who knows what these athletes are doing? And I'd imagine it's very easy to just get lazy after having to be peak physical condition for the last 20 years.
Every day's a cheat day when you retire.
Exactly. But to get back to it, when the Heat went up 3-0 on the Celtics, I was in shock.
Yeah.
Because I think Jason Tatum is fucking amazing, as I think most people do.
Yeah.
But
No
for
doubt.
them to go up 3-0, taking 2 in Boston,
Yeah, that was.
I was surprised. And then when the Celtics got Game 4, I was like, all right, gentlemen's sweep, right?
Yeah.
They'll win in 5, and then they got 5, and that's when I was like, okay, we have a fucking series now, and I just thought, I even told people I work with, I was like, Celtics are gonna win Game 7, but Jason Tatum did get hurt, I think, in the first quarter, and Jaylen Brown was, giving the ball away.
Yeah, they just didn't look like the Celtics that we had seen from the previous round. You know what I mean? And even in that series against the 76ers, they kind of struggled at times and were kind of back and forth. Like some games you get them in, like all their star players and role players were doing exactly what you needed them to do, even though Jason Tatum would disappear for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter would suddenly just he's on, and then game over. He's hitting every shot. Like I think he hit like against the 76ers in Game 7. It was like he hit 2 or 3 consecutive threes after missing he was like friggin' 1 for 9 or something. It was insane. But yeah, definitely was.
I thought I said the Celtics were going to win by 10. Like, I really thought the Celtics were going to win. I told people I work with, and then they were blown out.
Yeah,
but it wasn't even close.
I know. Only in the first half, and not even really.
And I get that that Tatum was hurt, and the Celtics were not at full strength nearly, but they didn't even. It wasn't even competitive. They crushed them.
Yeah,
they crushed them.
It was a bummer, and it would have been a great story because I think they had like the stat saying that no NBA team has ever come back from that deficit.
So 3-0, obviously in baseball, is the Red Sox against the Yankees,
and they said that in
the Islanders, I think, came back from 3-0 a couple times somewhere.
They said that in hockey,
the 80s or the 90s or something.
Yeah, they said in hockey it's happened 4 times, which is
wild
a lot
to me.
Yeah, like
that's
a
wild to me
because
when you think about hockey is the sport where I feel like the teams are always very close.
Yeah.
So for one team to win 3 and then another team to just win 4 straight, like I imagine very grinded out games.
Had to be.
So I really thought Boston was going to do it. I'm sorry, Celtics fans. I know you're all listening. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I am sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it is definitely a huge bummer, but it was hard to count Miami out after, seeing the way they've played up until now, and
Well, they got the team.
You got that Jimmy
you
Butler
got Jimmy
smile.
Butler. Jimmy Butler, who I wanted traded
Jimmy
to
Buckets.
the Knicks years ago.
Yeah.
I know I told you this the other day, Donald from Instant Replay.
We know you're watching. Or listening.
Years ago, when Carmelo Anthony was like on the outs with the Knicks, it was, is he going to re-sign or not? I told Donald one night after a whole bunch of drinks that we both had, that I was like, we trade Carmelo Anthony right now for Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson right now.
I wish we had.
And, oh, my God. Not that Jimmy Butler would have stayed on the Knicks. The Knicks were terrible.
Yeah, they were
so
straight up ass.
He would have left, too. Probably. Who knows? Maybe better players would have came because he became who he became.
Yeah.
But that
and
I
even
wanted
Jimmy Butler
them.
bounced around a little bit.
He did, as good as he is. Did you see the video of all the Chicago executives after they made that trade where they got rid of Jimmy Butler?
No.
Man, they were high-fiving each other like they just won the fucking lottery. I saw a video on Twitter.
Oh my God.
It was ridiculous. I hope that's what it was. Yeah, that's what the caption was, and I was like, if this is true, this is insane. For all I know, it's just a deep fake, and it's just some people in the basement.
Yeah, you never know.
This basement.
The basement. It was my video.
But, yeah. And the West, the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I feel like the Nuggets haven't played in a month.
I'm sure it must feel that way to them too. They're just like, "What's going on?" Like,
did they beat Phoenix in the finals? Or did they beat Phoenix in the second round?
So Phoenix, I think, was not. Did they? They didn't even. Phoenix didn't win their. They won their first series.
Yeah,
but then they lost the second series against the Nuggets.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been so long now. We've had like 2 months, 3 months of playoffs or whatever. Phoenix beat the Clippers
in the finals.
No, in the first round.
Oh, right. You said Phoenix. I'm not paying attention. Oh, they beat the fucking Lakers.
Yeah, for the conference.
Oh,
yeah, they beat the Lakers.
Yeah,
and
Lakers.
And what was great about this season
and they
the
swept the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time LeBron's ever been swept, which is crazy considering he's been in the playoffs
like every
year for the last 21 years or some shit. I think that's the first time he's ever been swept.
Yeah, I mean,
which is wild.
At this point, it's he's was he 38, right? 38 and
1984 is his birth year. Yeah, so I think he's turning 39.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's
I mean, he's
December
not that,
31st of 1984.
He can't carry a team on his back like he
not
used
anymore. Not anymore, but you don't want that.
No, I know.
Like he's 38, right? You want to put players around him that can ease his load a little bit so when it gets to the playoffs, he can be that guy.
The thing is the Nuggets are just too good. Like they even though the Lakers made the trades that they did at the deadline and became a playoff team, when it looked like there was no chance in hell at making the playoffs. But, I think that...
Were they in the play-in?
The Lakers?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I don't remember for the West because I had just started watching pretty much, right at that time, but I didn't watch the play-ins. But it's so crazy how stacked and how good the Nuggets they are. Overall, I mean, Jokic is just ridiculous.
So good,
right? He's definitely my favorite player to watch.
And the wildest thing is when I watch him, he looks so slow.
I know
he does not look fast. I'm sure he's significantly more athletic than me. I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
But trust me, if you were watching me run, I would look very slow. So. When you watch him play, it's nothing flashy. He doesn't look very fast.
But
He's 7 feet tall, can pass the ball, and can shoot, and
He's got point guard vision, for God's sakes.
yes,
Right? That guy.
I mean, he's a triple-double machine.
Yeah. And
Not
then,
as much as like Westbrook the year he averaged a triple-double, but
yeah.
still.
And then you add Jamal Murray on top of that, right? And Jamal Murray,
Who's a stud.
who's a stud, who this is all gonna connect now when I'm saying all this, but he was a stud in the bubble in 2020, and
Right.
Denver lost in the conference finals to the Lakers,
Right.
who won the championship in 2020 against the Miami Heat,
Who beat the Celtics.
who beat the
Right.
Celtics.
Right.
So it's kind of funny
And
how we're seeing almost
Wasn't
like,
it a surprise when they beat the Celtics then, too?
I think so, because the Celtics have had like the same core team now for a while.
yeah.
And it's just like their big three, if you want to call it. So it's like
Yeah.
Smart, Tatum, and Brown. They can't get it done.
And Jaylen Brown is supposedly not going to be a Celtic.
I don't know. I didn't. Is
Because
his contract up?
his contract and Tatum's contract are up at the same time. I don't know if it's
That is
I don't know if
a
it's
tough-
this year or if it's next year. It might be this year. See?
That is a tough.
So
a
that's
tough
the
choice
thing
if
is
you
like
don't-
if you have to pick, I think you take Tatum, right?
Yeah.
I would take Tatum.
I would take Tatum too.
But I think that's if you have to pick. If they have the money, pay them both.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're
You
both
know,
great players.
Pay them both. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they have the money. Who knows?
Yeah, it is kind of funny though that that's how we ended up seeing basically a repeat of the bubble, kind of, just with a slightly different outcome. Now we got Denver in.
Yeah.
Probably by far the best team in the NBA. When I did my brackets, there was no doubt in my mind Denver was in the finals.
Did you have the Heat?
I did not have the Heat. I
Who
actually
did the Heat
picked,
beat in
I
the
actually
first
picked
round?
the Bucks to go back again. But
The Heat beat the Bucks.
yeah,
The Bucks sucked in the first round.
they absolutely stunk.
They just stunk. They were terrible.
I mean, I know Giannis was hurt, but come
they
on.
were bad.
But yeah, like Drew Holiday didn't play good. Kevin Middleton didn't play good.
Chris.
Oh yeah,
It's Chris Middleton.
yeah, Chris Middleton.
But he might as well have been Kevin.
yeah. Sorry, yeah, but and who I don't even know who else. Oh, they have like Brooke Lopez, who actually played pretty well.
Brooke Lopez is like, your seventh guy off the bench.
Yeah,
But I think does he start for them? I actually don't know. I was going to say I think he does, but I don't know.
I think he does, but I'm not
I'll be
sure.
honest. Did not watch a lot of their games.
Yeah, it was not very good. I had definitely had way higher expectations for the Bucks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I think as far as predictions go, I got Nuggets in 5.
Man, that's tough.
I know. And obviously like the Heat are so fucking good, and Spoelstra, probably the best coach in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe second to Popovich. I don't know. It depends how you feel.
Yeah.
But Spoelstra's so good, but I just think the Nuggets have more.
They do. I mean, I think
Simply put.
I mean, like, even if you're looking at it on paper, I would say that, obviously the Nuggets probably are way, way stacked over Miami.
Yeah.
But Miami just has, like, that intangible, like, spirit,
Yeah.
right? Like, that just can't be beaten.
seeing. I'll be interested in seeing how they choose to guard Jokic, like what they do with him, because I feel like if there's a coach in the league that can think
Figure
of something,
it out. It's probably Eric Spoelstra.
it's Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, you
That
double.
dude is so
But
good.
the thing that sucks is, like, you double him, right? Then you leave open somebody else, probably Jamal Murray, right? If you get it to Murray
Right.
and he's on, then what do? You're doubling him and
I don't
Jokic, and just you hope that all your role players like Michael Portis Jr. is nailing threes like he can do, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
I know.
And
Listen.
maybe even Aaron Gordon. If Aaron Gordon is making threes,
It's
they're
a
winning a
bad day.
championship. It's
Yeah.
it's a day. It's,
There is-
call it a
There is a reason I'm
series.
sitting here and not on the sideline of the NBA Heat, because I don't know how you stop them. But that's for the fucking coaches.
yeah,
to figure out.
we're just here to enjoy. Man,
So
I don't
what's
know.
your prediction?
So obviously,
And
like,
I'm gonna get a beer while you do that.
yeah. So obviously, like you said, tonight is game 1. We're recording this before the start of the game. I want to say that the Nuggets are gonna win. The hard part for me is choosing how many games I think it's going to be. So there's a part of me that wants to say they'll win one game, but I think they might be able to steal 2. I don't think they could win more than that, but we've been saying that all along. So so you never really know. But that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 4-2. That was my initial score for the Bucks versus Denver.
It was 4-2 Denver.
4-2. No, 4-2 Milwaukee. I had winning.
Oh, okay.
Which is crazy, I know, right?
So your bracket was shit from
my
the
bracket
first round.
Yeah, shot.
Okay.
Immediately destroyed.
All right, that's like my NCAA men's basketball bracket.
That's what happens when you make a prediction like that, not watching basketball all year.
I'll be honest. I saw one college basketball game and made 6 brackets where I just literally just picked whatever, and I was like, we'll see what happens. And I got one bracket where I picked the champion, but the rest of that bracket was
just
shit.
a disaster.
I mean, all my NCAA brackets are fucking disasters. So
I feel like most people's are.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Well, I think is it Warren Buffett every year who says if there's a perfect bracket, yeah, he'll give a fucking $1 million to. Yeah, he does that because the odds are. It'll happen one day. One day, I feel it will. But it's gonna take a while, and it's gonna be someone who doesn't watch basketball.
Probably.
It'll be someone who doesn't watch basketball.
They'll just be like, yeah, it's like winning the lottery. I just like, I just thought it would be fun. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah. So
tonight, I'm gonna go with Denver though.
Denver tonight. See, I think Miami wins tonight.
They're playing in Denver, right? It have to be. If they're
they're
one
in
seed.
Denver.
Yeah,
they're in Denver.
Have to be.
The only reason I think Miami wins is they're coming off of a 7-game series, and the Nuggets have been sitting. And I think it's a possibility
that
they catch them
rhythm.
A little off.
I did say that to
a possibility.
I did say that when I was talking to my resident at work. I said one of 2 things is going to happen: the Nuggets are going to stop them because they're well rested, or they're going to be awful because they haven't played and they're out of rhythm.
It really depends. I mean, It's interesting. It's like the UFC, right? There's all this talk about ring rust. Well, MMA in general, not just the UFC.
Yeah.
Because there's one championship and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah.
But there's this huge conversation about ring rust whenever someone takes a long time off. And when the person who takes a long time off gets crushed, they're like, oh, it's ring rust. They weren't ready. They got killed, blah, blah, blah. Like people who aren't fighting regularly get knocked out in a minute. You know, like that happens. But then when someone has a long time off and they come back and they put on a fucking masterpiece, it's ring rust too. That's not a real thing.
That doesn't exist.
Right. That's fake. I spar. And who knows? Well, we have a friend that might know, but we don't.
Maybe he'll be on here one day. Who knows? If we could ever pull him away.
Probably not. But yeah, so I think there's a chance Miami takes the game tonight, so I would pick Miami.
Okay.
Like if I were betting, actually, let's see what the line is.
just out of curiosity.
Just out of curiosity, I might throw $5 on them because we got FanDuel.
You're gonna throw a $5 footlong down on Miami?
FanDuel and you know what? See, I haven't bet in so long. Both of them are in my cloud right now. I have to re-download the app.
Okay, well.
I was on a big run of betting for months, and then I was on just like a massive cold streak and just didn't open the apps for a very long time.
I mean, I can't imagine why you would feel that way.
Oh, by the way, so there was one night where I was actually like tweeting my bets during a UFC event. And I hit a couple, and I got some likes, whatever. And then I put a bet out there, and I thought I think it's Khabib's cousin or brother, I don't remember which one, Umar Nurmagomedov. He's a 135-pound guy.
Yeah.
I said I had Umar by submission, and he won by decision. So I lost the bet, and some guy jumped into my comment and wrote, L, how's that feel? And I was like, what? I had won 4 other fucking bets that night. That was like my first or second loss.
That's
that
so
night.
funny, dude.
But he
toxic tweets.
Right. And, of course, nameless, faceless on Twitter, but he was like, L, man, L. People love to hate, man.
I know.
That's why we're putting
everywhere.
this out. I can't wait for the hate.
Oh, yeah. So much hate.
I have to agree to terms?
That's fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah. But you would think, like, it was a $10 bet. Like, you would think I put,
Hold
like,
that L.
a lot of money on it. Like, I'm
choke
not
on the
trying to
L.
put a lot of money on my fucking bets. Okay. Okay. Heat are plus 295 for money line, and the spread is 8.5. Wow. 8.5. That's a big spread. I get that the Nuggets are home, but I feel like 8.5 is big. And you know what's crazy? I was watching the lines for. Excuse me. I was watching the lines for the Eastern Conference Finals, and even with Miami up 2-0, taking 2 games in Boston, I'm pretty sure the Celtics were like 3.5-point favorites in Game 3.
Huh. You would not think that, but.
No. But either way. What about Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on from basketball.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, we basically spent like 20 minutes, I feel like, talking about basketball. So now seems like an appropriate time to switch over. We've made our picks over there. So let's go over to hockey, which is something probably that I watch more nowadays than basketball. So we got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers. Two teams that I wouldn't mind seeing win.
I kind of want Florida to win.
Yeah, I mean,
Vegas would be cool too, but Florida going as an 8 seed.
So that, and I said that to Omar, not the 8 seed part, but more along the lines for like they've been in the league for so long and never won. Meanwhile, Vegas has been around for what, like 5 years now, 4 years, something like that. Not very long, but nonetheless, they've had massive success like already in their first year. They went to the finals, and couldn't win, unfortunately, but they've pretty much always been a good team. I don't even know if they've had a year where they didn't make the playoffs. Maybe one. I honestly couldn't say that with any confidence, but
yeah, I don't know. I remember when they made the finals in their first season, everyone was like, "Oh, this is because the franchise, the expansion draft is horseshit now," and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and
it's like, well, do you want a new team to just suck forever?
Yeah, no, of course not. Like, because how could you ever be good? It would take years and years, and you'd have to make like amazing
Houston
picks.
Texans. The Houston Texans in the NFL. They were an expansion team. Hit that with my nose. I figured you'd be the first one to do that. They were an expansion team. And
they're pretty good now, aren't they? Or they were at one point.
When they had
DeAndre Hopkins? No. I don't even know
Deshaun Watson was a Texan, right? I believe so. I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
I know they were like decent.
Either way, they had David Carr as a quarterback and no fucking offensive line.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Carr, he was a number 1 overall pick, and he just got destroyed his whole career because they had no offensive line because the team stunk. So I think the NHL did it right.
I think so too, and obviously the Kraken, another expansion team, which I personally wanted to see the Kraken beat the Stars so badly, but unfortunately that was not the case. And and then after what Jamie Benn did, to Matt Stone, I believe it was.
Oh, the cross check. Where he said that he was there when he landed or something.
Yeah, it was unfortunate he was there when I fell or landed. Come on, man. I saw that video. It was very intentional.
We all saw it.
Yeah, there was no doubt. No doubt. But I don't know who's going to win, though. Like, I think I would like to see Florida win because they've been around for so long, and it would just be nice to see that. But I don't know. I feel like they're the best road team in the playoffs.
We have to remember the Panthers were the President's Cup winner last year. They had the most points.
Yeah, they did.
So they're no slouch, right? I think everyone was a little shocked they beat Boston. They beat Boston in 7, and the 7th game was in Boston. I mean, that's like eerily reminiscent of what just happened with the Celtics and the Heat. Both losing Game 7 at home.
President's Cup people, right?
But-
The Bruins,
Yeah.
right? I'm pretty sure they won the President's Cup.
Oh, yeah. They were the best regular season team
the
ever.
curse lives.
Best regular season team ever. But Florida, they're no slouches. But it also brings into question the rest factor.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't
How
played
much
in a
rest
while.
is
When was
too
the last
much?
time they played? And in hockey,
2 weeks ago.
in hockey, you're not going to practice the way you play, right? You're not going to hit.
No, you're not going that hard. You're not going 100%, right?
So it could take Florida some time to wake up.
I mean,
I don't know. I got Florida in 7.
think it's going to be that competitive.
I think it's going to be close. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas, they're no slouch. I'll be honest, I haven't watched much Western Conference hockey at all.
It's tough.
I mostly watch whoever plays the Rangers and then occasionally whatever game was on Wednesday night on ESPN. And, we're both up early, so
Yeah,
West
so it's
Coast
hard to
hockey
stay
is,
up.
Yeah. I still think Florida in 7. I think it's going to be close because hockey is usually close.
And that's the thing, right? Like, it could easily, you make an adjustment during the intermission, and it could easily swing,
Yeah.
We've seen a bunch of games this postseason where, 2 goals up and then come back 3 goals straight and then they win in overtime or whatever the case may be. A lot of overtimes.
Yeah.
A ton in this postseason.
Well, also think about when the Rangers were in the finals against the Kings, right? Those games, I think the Kings won in 5 games.
Yeah, they did.
But they were close. And if you remember, the Rangers, for most of them, would take the lead in the beginning, but the Rangers were such a finesse team that the Kings would just beat them the fuck up. They kicked their ass to the point where the Rangers just couldn't skate anymore. And then the Kings would wear them down and usually win either late in the third or in overtime.
It's true.
So while that was a 5-game series, the games were close.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, what we touched on earlier where I was saying, like, in the conference finals, the games, it was basically, kind of a blowout in all the series, but a lot of the games were very close. So it's kind of like you get to that next level where obviously the matchups are the way they are because they won. And it's super competitive, but the score, or like if you're not looking and watching the games and seeing the score, it doesn't necessarily reflect that, right? Like you get like a 4-1 series, and you're like, oh, they got blown out, but like not really, because every game was overtime, 3-2, or like whatever the case may be in hockey. I feel like West Coast is always high scoring, right? Like even in like basketball too, it's like. Defensive play is for the East. I don't know.
Maybe,
right?
Maybe.
It seems like
I
that.
mean,
is that why they call it West Coast offense?
Maybe. That's a good one. I look at, because I don't know, I feel like the Rangers gave up on defense when they traded for Patrick Kane. So who knows?
I hated that trade.
Me too.
But anyways,
Me too. But we don't have to get into that.
I
But
digress.
either way, I got the Panthers in 7.
Man, that's tough. I'm gonna go. I'll go Panthers in 6.
Okay, so they win it at home.
Yeah,
right? Because they're the away team.
I believe so. Yeah, they should. I'm pretty sure they should
think
be
they
as an
should
8th
be.
seed. Yeah, right.
I'm assuming that I'm assuming they're the 8th seed. I don't remember how hockey works, but
I don't think they were that high up.
I mean, they played Boston in the first round, so they're the best team. I imagine wherever the Panthers were, they were the worst. But the last time I remember the playoffs, it was like there were brackets of 4, right? That's how the Rangers always ended up playing the Penguins. There were brackets of 4, and the wild cards sometime would jump from side to side, and then whoever won the brackets would then play each other. So I don't know if it's still that or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really look either. I just look and see what games are on and who's in it, and I'm just like, yes.
I'm
right?
I'm imagining they played Boston, who was the best regular season team ever, that they might have been the worst playoff team. As a wild card, you would assume.
Yeah. That's a huge L. Hold that L.
Yeah. Rough month or 2 months for,
Yeah, for Boston
fans. We're sorry. Not really, but
yeah.
it's okay.
Well, maybe maybe a different sport. Maybe baseball or something.
Well,
I don't know.
the Yankees suck. The Mets suck. I don't think Boston's very good. The Rays, who are in the AL East, are very good. And
Yeah,
I think
they're still very good, right?
And I think the Orioles are in second place. So this is weird. Because the Orioles usually stink, and the Rays are always they're always good. But no, Yankees suck, Mets suck, and I don't really start paying attention to baseball until August anyway.
Yeah, it's too early. I feel like now.
It's a
Not that
6-month season.
I'm not really super into baseball. I really like watching the highlights. That way I don't have to sit there for 4 hours or however long the games take. But it is fun watching playoff anything. So it's once we get to that for baseball, maybe I'll tune in a little more and get a little more invested in it. But like right now, I'm just going to enjoy watching the highlights and just kind of shooting the shit with people who know better than I do, which is pretty much everybody.
I mean, if I happen to win tickets to a Mets game again, like I did last year,
I'd be down.
we'll go.
That's like the only way I ever see any baseball is if I go to a Mets game.
We'll go, and we'll just stay in center field this time. I wouldn't even bother going to our seats. Because, boy,
that last
was
game.
So, one, they were bad. Two, it was just boring.
They got walloped.
Oh, yeah, they did. It was 7-0 in the
first
fourth inning.
No, it was the first inning. It was 6-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
We were just like, man.
Yeah, baseball, we'll talk about baseball in 3 months.
Yeah.
But the Yankees suck. The Mets suck. And not much about football.
Yeah.
So
still too early for that. Not that I'm super knowledgeable about that either, because I kind of fell off. But I keep a little bit. I watch every now and again.
I mean, I like football, but now I work Sundays, so I'll never see any games. And it's May. There ain't shit to say about football now. But,
damn, son.
So the last time me and Kim were in Florida, we took an Uber from the airport to our hotel. It's an old guy. He's probably late 60s. Well, an older guy. And we get in the car. It's like, oh, you're you. I'm, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We make sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, where are you from? I was like, all right, I'm from New York. And he immediately was like, oh, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of this stand-up from Robin Williams. And then for the next 30 minutes, this guy talked about Robin Williams, then the MCU, then the DC Universe, then other movies, then Zack Snyder cut movies, then everything under the sun, and then Star Wars and Star Trek, and which one's better, and why Star Wars is better, but Star Trek's not bad. Just went crazy. And Kim texts me the whole time like, this is the strangest Uber I've ever taken. And I was like...
he seems like just a very lonely man, probably.
He was, and most of the stuff he was talking about, I didn't know. I didn't know what he was really talking about. I'm not huge into the Marvel movies. I like Guardians, that's about it. But when he would get on a topic that I knew something about, I would throw in a fact.
He'd be like, oh, yeah.
Just to make sure, he felt like I was listening, because I didn't want to be disrespectful. And then the craziest thing is, I don't even remember what it was about, but he triple dog dared me. I haven't been triple dog dared in 25 years.
So you had to do it, right? You were like, I feel like I need to do this.
He triple dog dared me to watch some Zack Snyder cut some film. I don't remember which film it was. And then he triple dog dared me to watch something else as I was getting my luggage out of his car. And he was talking to us as we were trying to walk away from the Uber, and I very nicely was like, thank you, sir, for the ride, and have a good day, please.
And the cultural word vomit that spewed out.
And we walked away, and me and Kim just looked at each other and like we laughed. And you're right, like he just struck me as a guy that was, a little lonely and had someone to talk to. But oh my God, it was the worst Uber ride ever because. And you know what else was crazy is he talked for like 10 minutes. And I was like, all right. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to put this soundtrack on. So he puts the soundtrack on to whatever movie. I don't even remember the movie.
And he's like, he's super into that stuff.
He puts the soundtrack on and then talks over the entire song and then goes, oh, well, if we're going to have a conversation, I'll shut the music off. And then talked for 25 fucking minutes. And if this wasn't an older man, I would have been like, listen, please, like, we're just trying to whatever. But I didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings.
He needed that.
So we just talked, and I gave him 5 stars because he had a 5-star rating, and I was not going to be the one that ruined his 5-star rating. I gave him 5 stars, and we gave him our standard Uber tip. But, oh, my God.
Jesus.
Quite possibly the worst Uber ever. And then stark contrast, our ride back, it was early in the morning, but he picked us up. We get in the car. He was like, what airline? And I was like, JetBlue. And then we didn't hear a word until he said, have a good day, when we got to the airport.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, that's what an Uber ride should be.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's probably what I would want too, I mean, it depends on what mood I'm in, like, have I had drinks when I got into the Uber? Maybe I feel chatty, but like most of the time for that kind of stuff, especially if it's like early, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk at all. I just want to sit in silence and just do what I do.
I think we got into the airport at 9:30, so this was, probably like 10:15 or whatever time it was. And he had so much to say, but he did say, check out Robin Williams at the Metropolitan. Apparently Robin was just fucking high on crazy amounts of cocaine and did like 3 hours worth of content within 1 hour just because he was ripping through shit because he was so fucking high.
Makes sense.
Triple dog dare you.
You had to do it. You still have to do it, Dylan.
Yeah,
it's a triple dog dare. You can't not.
He triple dog dared me to do 2 shit. I was like 2 things. I was just fucking. I was like,
the way
oh
I
my
see it,
God.
you get to choose which one you want to do, and the other one is just eat a dick, bro.
Oh my God! But that was probably the worst Uber ride of my life.
That's funny, dude. Random, Florida, right?
Florida.
Am I right, guys?
Florida.
By the way, since we talked about sports before that, and obviously this still has to do with Florida, but how crazy is it that even though Tampa Bay now for hockey is they got eliminated,
but they got the Panthers.
Now they got the Panthers and the Heat, bro. The Florida's is just
8
fucking,
seeds. 8 seeds.
Florida is slapping in sports right now. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers to me.
And New York sucks.
They got a lot of great things going on in the sports world, but like as far as a state, nah.
I mean, I was gonna say sports world. Haven't won the last championship. I think New York has won. It's the Yankees in 2009, right?
Yeah.
Knicks haven't won shit since.
I feel like the day the Knicks win is like maybe I'll just die that day. I don't know because
the Rangers won in '94.
Yeah.
The Knicks
got
haven't won.
close though in '99. I really
they
thought,
got close.
Yeah.
And in '94.
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah, never.
Sure. Oh, the Giants, 2011. That's the last one, but it's still 12 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. New York sports.
Maybe Buffalo, but let's be honest. We're downstate New York.
We're
Buffalo,
Long Islanders.
Yeah, we're Long Islanders. I mean, obviously, if Buffalo won, I would be happy for them.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
They're
probably the best New York team right now.
Yeah,
I would say at least.
Oh yeah, Buffalo. So maybe they'll pull something out and the state can claim them. But to be fair to them as well, the state doesn't claim them. So, Buffalo is Buffalo.
Yeah, the Bills specifically is what we're, because we were just saying Buffalo.
Buffalo
Bills. Like Buffalo's
Sorry.
It's just Buffalo, guys. Like, they don't even have a mascot
That's
or
the
a team
thing.
name.
Like, if Buffalo Bills or the Sabres were to win a championship, it would be Buffalo that won. It wouldn't be New York.
Yeah, it's Buffalo specifically.
And like I said, to be fair to them, the rest of the state always is like, oh, Buffalo's not in New York.
Yeah, they're like the afterthought. You know what I mean?
So it's only fair that only Buffalo would get to claim their win.
That's true. I concur. It would be nice. I don't know when we're going to see a New York team win a championship, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe if the Rangers can ever get their shit together, but
not gonna hold my breath.
yeah, me neither.
And the Islanders are bad, and
yeah, they're not making any like good
There's
moves
just nothing
either.
there.
Yeah,
Rangers traded for Patrick Kane. It's like, we don't have anyone that could play defense.
literally.
But whatever. What's going on in the wrestling world?
Oh man, so I haven't really watched AEW too much, but I know that they just had their Double or Nothing.
Saw a
pay-per-view.
couple of Jeff Hardy botches back to back. Didn't look that good.
It's funny because somebody wrote, they had the clip posted on TikTok.
And it was just the clip of the two botches.
two botches.
And people were like, oh my God, Jeff's lost it.
So what was the botches that you saw though? It was like the Twist
So
of Fate,
the Twist of Fate,
and then
where
the
it-
Whisper in the Wind.
So it almost looked like he popped an Achilles, because it was the Twist of Fate. He grabs the back of his leg, right, and he goes, oh, and it looks like he's in pain, and then he goes to do the Whisper in the Wind and misses the top rope.
So I did see both of those, and in the TikTok video, somebody said people say it's a botch, but I say it's a really good work. And like,
Okay.
not having seen the rest of
was-
the match, it's kind of hard to get the true perspective because
Did-
like it could be a work, but
Did the TikTok give reasons, or did it just end there?
it was just literally the clip of him, failing the Twist of Fate and grabbing his ankle or whatever, and then doing the Whisper in the Wind, obviously, and his leg, hitting that rope and him
Yeah.
just having a really hard fall.
I don't know. It could have been,
Because
right?
if I was going to sell something, that's how I'd want to sell it. I mean, granted, that's probably not a fall I'd want to take. you know?
Well, do you remember, I think it was when he was in TNA and he was having drug issues, so he couldn't go out of the country. So the way they wrote him off was he took that nasty bump off the stairs.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to take that fall either.
No.
And he chose to take that fall to get written off because he
definitely
couldn't
wouldn't
go
want
overseas. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, well, listen, I'll fake an Achilles and miss a move that I can hit in my sleep that he's been doing for 25
20
years
20
at this point.
20
Holy
plus years.
shit. I think he started in WWE at 16 because they lied about his age.
Insane. But yeah, I didn't really look at the results or anything like that. I saw some of the highlights for that match and the MJF like 4 pillars of of AEW.
I didn't see the match, but I saw his press conference after the fact, and someone asked him like, so you weren't in the final match? And he was like, no, I wasn't. And he was like, and the interviewer was like, how do you feel about that? And he was like, I don't want to be rolling around in Jon Moxley's blood, okay? So I'm okay with that. And Tony Khan, what was funny is when the question was being asked, Tony Khan was like making a face like, like he was, it didn't seem like he was too thrilled with the question. But MJF sharp with the response as always.
Yeah, I could understand why he probably didn't like that question. It still baffles me sometimes when, these wrestling promotions choose to not have the World Heavyweight title or like whatever their, top title is as the main event.
I'll never get that.
Sometimes they have it first too, which is.
I honestly, I'm okay with first or last, but anything else to me is strange. Because do you remember when we went to AEW Grand Slam, the biggest match was first, Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan.
And
yeah.
they did a 30-minute
And then
time limit.
The crowd was spent after that, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, I had no energy left because that match was so good.
So maybe that plays into the decision-making.
I don't know, because the match, I don't even remember the match that was after them, Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega. But I could tell you no one gave a fuck because we were all beat.
That was a cool-down match.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, this is for, the who the fuck knows championship, right?
or probably not even.
Right.
Just some
or
bullshit.
something. Just like, here's a 6-minute squash. And it's like, all right, great. Like, I need a match I can't pay attention to because I've just been glued to my seat for 30 minutes.
Let's see.
And WWE just had Night of Champions.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just about to pull up, was so I could go through, because I watched the whole thing, but of course, like, I don't remember all the matches. But the AJ Styles and Seth Rollins match for the Raw title was first.
I didn't see that match. I didn't see any of those matches because I had no clue the pay-per-view was going on. But
I knew
a buddy of mine
told
me Rollins and Styles, that match was very good. My one thing is Seth Rollins still doing that gimmick where, like, he does the laughing?
Kind of, yeah.
Is it as dramatic? Because, like, I was watching, I don't know, a couple months ago, and literally he was just in the ring, like, doing this, ha, 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 ha. And I was just like, okay, not for me.
Yeah, I don't know, like, what to even call that personality, but yeah, he I don't think he really does the laugh anymore, or at least I haven't seen it. But he's still just like this very, like, flamboyant, like, flashy,
kind of like a younger Randy Orton.
Yeah,
I think he needs to go full heel.
I'd love that. I love Seth.
Because if you remember when he won the title and was heel, he was like Weasley heel because he had J&J Security.
Yeah, and he was and he also had
and he'd be
Triple
like,
H and all that.
You go after them, all that shit. Like, he needs to do what Roman did.
I still think it's kind of a backhanded title, though.
Yeah,
it's a slight, definitely. He's I think.
Well, I think it was you who said it was the network that wants a weekly title, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to be on Raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Roman is still the king of SmackDown.
Well, they're starting his fall, I think.
They are.
Which Uso was it that super kicked him?
Jay, I believe, because Jimmy, I think, is the one that was friends with Sami Zayn, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the Usos super kicked Roman at Night of Champions.
Yep, I was going to say.
So...
But yeah, getting back to Seth though, real quick. I don't know if he said this in like some other interview, or if it was like with Corey Graves and it was like a stage thing or whatever. But he basically said or was like paraphrased something saying that he's basically the Edge of today. He's the afterthought.
Interesting.
He'll never, like, Roman Reigns is the John Cena of today, and like all the best he can hope for is being Edge.
Who said that?
That was like a quote that I saw, so I don't know if Seth said it or if somebody else said it, but I was just like, that's something about that reigns true to me.
So if they ever go back to not having split rosters, they'd have to do Seth and Roman.
I absolutely.
I think you have to do that anyway, and you can do that when only one of them is the champion.
God, could you imagine Roman wins that match too? It's like, give me a third belt.
I would hate that.
Yeah, dude.
I would
can't
hate
stand
that.
it now.
The thing is,
3 years is too long. Man.
Well, I recently saw a tweet that because I'm on Twitter a lot, just wasting my time. That Roman's very close to beating CM Punk's reign.
Okay. Well, yeah, he just hit 1,000.
Or CM Punk had a reign or some shit. I don't know.
CM Punk's was over 1,000, I think. I'd
have to look that up. But I would imagine, knowing WWE the way I do and how petty they appear to be, they're going to make sure Roman beats him.
Even if it's by a day.
Because the reason I always feel they're petty, think about when they got Sting to finally wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
They had Triple H beat him, and then his back was hurt, and he was like not wrestling anymore. It's like, that's all you got?
Yeah.
You got Sting for a month, and you chose to have him lose.
Yep.
You chose to have him lose.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to crush WCW one more time.
That's a tough pill to swallow for us, you know.
So, obviously, big Sting fan. Most people are HR.
Yeah, how could you not like Sting, man? He's classic.
But that was the ultimate in pettiness, and they tried to make it not petty by have Triple H shaking his hand in the center of the ring afterwards. But we know that was WWE just spitting in the face of everyone that liked WCW just one more time.
Absolutely, dude. No doubt. So we had, obviously, the Seth Rollins and AJ Styles match was first. Second match, Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch.
Who won?
Trish Stratus.
Interesting.
Now,
I read she's going to be a regular on Raw now.
Yeah. I didn't really particularly love the match because it just felt like there's some limitations to like the wrestling that they could do against each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she still did like a lot of her signatures and stuff like that, but it was kind of one of those matches where Trish was constantly getting the best of Becky Lynch, and I feel like she never really got to do like any real moves.
Becky?
Yeah. You know, like she did some,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't much of like a wrestling match. It was almost like more of a brawler match.
Okay.
And then it ended with, damn, I wish I could remember that chick's name. Some girl who just came up to the main roster on Raw from NXT interfered. She came out, like Trish went to go under the ring, and we had no idea why. And then so Becky like pulled her out and then like threw her in the ring, and the referee was checking on Trish, and then this superstar, right, this chick, came out from under the ring and did her finishing move, which is like absolutely insane, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah.
I love sick finishers.
It's a sick finisher.
Like
and then,
AJ Lee, her finisher is fucking awesome.
So she hits it, throws Becky back in the ring, and then Trish Stratus hits the
Stratusfaction.
Yeah, the Stratusfaction, and that was it. And then afterwards, you see Becky in the middle of the ring or whatever, and her nose was busted.
Oh, broken?
Up.
Yeah,
like she was bleeding a lot. So like I don't know if she broke her nose or just did a lot of damage on the inside and it was just roughed up or what. But it was an okay match. It was hard to follow Rollins and Styles though. After that, you had Gunther versus Mustafa Ali for the Intercontinental title.
Did Gunther squash him,
he
or
didn't
did
squash him.
they let it be a real match?
They let it be kind of a real match. It was like, they were saying,
this was
good.
in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah. So they had to give, Ali a shot.
Yeah.
They made it look like at one point, he was going to win. He even, hit his move a couple times, but, in the end.
Well, and that's classic WWE, That's why they gave, they had Jinder Mahal have that big championship run because they were going into Abu Dhabi. And they were, I think they did other dates in that.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Oh, Saudi Arabia. I'm
like,
sorry.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
I've been saying Abu Dhabi this whole time. Saudi Arabia. Apologies. They were going into Saudi Arabia, and they wanted someone that looked like the people that were there.
Yeah.
And then once they used Jinder Mahal to the point where they didn't need him anymore.
Now he's a jobber again.
Is he? Because he
Basically.
disappeared. And his the two guys, the Singh brothers, that were his like entourage, they got released from WWE, I think, during the releases of like 2020 and stuff.
Yeah. I don't think they're around anymore. I don't know though. I haven't seen them. So then after that match you have Asuka versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship.
I saw Asuka won.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen because I was like, I feel like you can't have this match happen again and have Asuka lose.
How many times have they wrestled?
It's been quite a few, and like at big events.
And Bianca beat her clean
every time. And I think Bianca's been the champ now for over a year.
Yeah. They did say her run was a long, long run.
Yeah, and
seemed well deserved. I mean, she's she seems good on the microphone.
It was a good match, and then I really like the finish to the match because obviously Asuka's big thing is like the poison mist or whatever.
Tajiri.
So what she did was she missed it, but then what she did was Bianca like put her up to do the KOD, and she put her hands like right before she was up in her mouth with the mist. And then when she had her up in the move, she rubbed and raked her eyes with the mist in her hand. And then she finished her off. And I was just like, man, that's a good finish.
That's a good ending.
That's a good finish. Something unique and like it worked, It was like a very heel finish to the match in every sense.
And she's a heel?
Yeah. In that rivalry, she's the heel.
But I feel it.
It's kind of
I wonder if she's going to be a face, like.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see about that one.
So
we'll
then
see.
Right after that, you had Rhea Ripley with Dominic versus Natalya. Squash.
I saw something. Sorry, I know I keep cutting in. Squash, go ahead.
No, it was a squash match. I don't think it lasted more than 2 minutes.
If you're on Wikipedia, the timing should be on the on the left side.
A minute and 10.
Who did she wrestle?
Natalya. She got absolutely destroyed. I was kind of shocked, to be honest, that it was that short.
A minute and 10 seconds?
Yeah.
I never understand why they have squash matches at pay-per-views. At least short ones.
Yeah.
Right? You remember, what SummerSlam was it that Brock Lesnar suplexed John Cena 20 times?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, that was a squash, but it was 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a 10-minute squash. 10-minute utter destruction.
Right, like, he killed him, but it was at least a long time.
Brock was suplexing that air really good for 10 minutes. And then the next match was Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes.
And Brock won.
Yep. They technical submission. It was a stoppage.
Hold on. Okay. I'm glad you said that. It was a technical submission from a Kimura.
Yeah.
You know what a Kimura is?
Yep.
So if you don't know what a Kimura is, it's a shoulder thing where you take the person's wrist and you push it behind their back to put a whole bunch of stress on their shoulder to make them hurt. And he passed out.
Yeah. From the pain.
What?
Yeah.
Just put him in a choke. They fake sleeper holds, rear naked chokes. They fake them all the time.
Yep.
There's so many you could put them in so many different chokes that they could easily fake because they're professionals and they're trained.
Yeah.
But he goes unconscious from a joint submission.
Yeah. I mean,
really, like that. I don't mind that it ended that way. Just make it make more sense.
Yeah, I guess they only did that probably because like that's his well-known move or submission hold. But like,
yeah,
but I get it though, right? It's like why not just
if
do
you
a
look at Brock
though?
Lesnar's career, he beat people with punches more than Kimuras.
And they also the reason why.
But I agree with you, guillotine.
Yeah, like that makes more sense. But they did that literally because on the Raw right before the pay-per-view, so a week before, he broke his arm with a keg.
Okay.
So that's why.
I guess.
So it's kind of like it does make sense.
Still,
in the grand
it's
scheme of
like
the story,
why not pretend to snap his arm then?
Oh, he did later that night.
With
the Kimura.
It came back.
Yeah.
But still.
I know.
Unconscious from a joint submission?
Yeah.
What?
And then so after that match was the main event, which was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defending their unified tag titles versus Roman and
they got
Solo.
the dub, right?
And they got the dub. The
Man,
Usos.
Sammy's been on fire, dude.
Yeah, they love him, and he's been killing it. I'm loving it. The Usos tried to interfere, and honestly, I was kind of like in and out of sleeping or whatever because I was up so early that day. But I got reinvigorated when I heard that the Usos kicked Solo by accident.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I didn't even see that. The highlights I saw was one of the Usos super kicking Roman.
Well, that's
and
what
then
happened,
hit him
right
again
after. Yeah, Because then Roman got upset and was like, "Why did you come out here?"
Yeah. I
you don't
saw
belong
the
here."
pie face. I
Yeah.
saw the pie face.
And then Jay just laid him out.
Okay.
Yep.
But it's interesting. Like, it's not a clean loss, right?
Yeah.
So
and,
they always.
and Solo got pinned. Of course.
Oh,
You're
even
not gonna
better,
pin
right?
Roman
So not
Reigns.
only was it not clean, Solo got pinned.
Yeah.
So Roman loses, but he doesn't get pinned. I think he's only been pinned like 3 times in the last 3 years, however long he's held the titles for.
Who knows?
I don't. That's why I said I think.
I'm sure. Michael Cole. I hear Michael Cole somehow saying it in my ear right now. He hasn't been pinned in blah blah blah.
Right. A lot of days.
Yeah. Over 1,000 days, Roman Reigns is undefeated.
No, I love him as a heel, but I do think it's time for him to lose. But I do think they're going to want him to overtake CM Punk. And then he will lose. And you know what's crazy is his run has been so good that like he's just set. He's set. His character is set. I don't think he should ever go away from it.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, this is the most success he's had since the Shield, right?
Or maybe be like the anti-hero. Like, I don't think he should ever go babyface again, ever.
I agree.
But
I hate him.
he's good. he's so much better as a heel than he was as the face they were trying to make him when all the old dudes hated him.
Yeah.
Old dudes, I mean people our age, because it was people our age that didn't like him.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan, but I love him as a heel.
Yeah. I'm just sick of the title reign. I don't mind him, though. I think he's good.
He's going to pass CM Punk, whatever it was tweet that I saw. I think he's close. And when he does, like you said, don't be surprised if it's literally the next event.
Yeah, imagine.
He just loses. He just loses. He's now the record title holder by 36 hours. But he is number 1.
He was number 1.
Smitty Werber Jaegerman
Jensen Reigns.
Oh my God! All right, I think we'll do beer of the week, and then
yeah, we'll have
we'll
our beer
call
of the week. Yeah, I was gonna say I think we've touched on all the topics that we really wanted to discuss on today's episode. So every week when we do this, we're gonna be doing a beer of the week for you guys, where we we try something new or maybe something we've had before, and we're just gonna retry it and have it on here for you.
Well, this isn't something new. This is
Yeah.
something from our neck of the woods. If you can't see it, it's Montauk Wave Chaser. It's an IPA. Love this beer. And like we had said before, we're from Long Island. Montauk's on Long Island, albeit it's like 2 hours east from here.
Yeah.
But still. So Montauk Wave Chaser IPA
Don't
is
worry.
our beer of the week.
I'll zoom in on that at some point.
Oh, okay. There you go. Editing.
Editing, baby.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah, I could zoom in.
So if you're watching, thank you.
Yeah, we do really appreciate it.
Crack open a beer. Hopefully it's a Wave Chaser. If it's not, then
Then just crack
Anyway.
open whatever beer or spirit that you you feel like drinking with us.
So I got this on the 7-Eleven on the way here. That's between my house and your house. And what I learned while standing on that line is 7-Eleven has a rewards program.
Oh yeah,
It's called 7 Rewards. And what's crazy is I was looking, it was like, if you buy 7 slices of pizza, the 8th is free, only if you're a rewards member. And I was like, who the fuck is drunk enough to
eat
come
that
in
pizza?
here and buy 7 slices of 7-Eleven pizza?
I'm sure there's people, dude. I'm sure.
Listen, I've definitely stumbled into a number of 7-Elevens drunk. And
But-
we've definitely gotten hot dogs after nights at the bar and going back to Steve's house, making sure he got home okay.
Absolutely.
But never in my life was I like, I'm going to buy
Pizza.
7 slices of pizza so I can get 8.
Gonna get that 8th one free, baby.
and eat all 8.
I knew it. As soon as I heard the beer crack open.
That is a solid beer.
It is good.
Montauk Wave Chaser.
It's great. Buy it. Do it now.
It's a good IPA, not overly bitter. There you go.
I got it.
Good catch.
I know, right?
It's not an overly bitter IPA. There are a lot of IPAs that are made that they try to make them super bitter.
Yeah.
And those aren't, they're not for me.
Yeah, I
know?
generally don't like that either. But this one is nice and smooth,
Very good. Very solid beer. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you.
We appreciate
If you
it.
fast forwarded to this part, thank you. And anyway, cheers and have a good night.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.
Cut!